tied down to the thousandths of a second in qualifying. The tiebreaker, though, who's the highest in the points? That's the reason Jeff Gordon's on the pole, Gilliland's on the outside pole.
17 cars came here outside the top 35 in owner points. Here are the ones who failed to make the field. Ken Schrader had competed in every restrictor plate race. So had Michael Waltrip and Mark Martin, who were not entered here. So that streak is over. Also, it's the first time the Wood Brothers, number 21, has failed to make a Talladega race since 2000.
DW, 5 wide, 4 wide. It won't be the first time I tell you today. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
All right, folks, we're at the capital of Boogity. This is where it all gets going right here. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Yeehaw!
Covering a football field a second. Here they come to complete the first of 188 laps.
It's like winding up a great big old rubber band. You get her wound up and let her fly.
Jeff Gordon, he'll lead lap 1, 5 more bonus points. He has led a lap in 8 of 9 races in 2007 now.
That's Sterling Marlin in the 14, Gilliland the 38, right behind Gordon.
Got to be careful right now. These cars are a little free on the get-go here. And you get side by side, the back end wants to suck around. Got to be careful of that for a few laps. Pressure build up, burn off a little fuel.
Here comes Marlin on the outside. The veteran from Columbia, Tennessee, whose dad raced here when the track first opened.
Look at Cuckoo's boy go.
He's being pushed by Kenny Wallace in that 78 car with Jimmy Johnson in the 48. All 3 of those cars, 3 different teams, 3 Hendrick engines in that outside line.
Lap is led by Marlin.
Mike, we've got our scoring monitor up here that says if a car changed positions, 41 of 43 positions changed that lap right there.
And you know, watching the race yesterday, that high line was very, very effective.
Little bump drafting. You'll see a lot of it today. Steve Burns.
Mike, great note on Sterling Marlin. He's led 1,004 laps in restrictor plate racing, but that is the first lap he's led on a plate race in the last 12 events.
And Steve, biggest thing he's trying to do is finish this race and maybe get his first top 10 finish of 2007.
We just saw Jimmy Johnson get in the back of Kenny Wallace in the 78 car. A little bump draft that wiggled him through the trial here. Very, very treacherous through the trial.
And watch the third lane. Way on the outside comes Jeff Green with Tony Stewart in tow and a group behind them.
This is just like any other track we go to. That high line gets a lot of momentum when you start off the corner onto the back straightaway.
Looking from Tony Stewart back at the Domino's car of David Rudiman.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that looked like 5 wide to me, boys.
For a moment.
Woohoo! Yeah, we don't get excited about 3 wide anymore. It's when they go 4 and 5 wide at over 190 miles per hour.
And they will as they come down this short chute, 1,600 feet to the tri-oval. Then they'll fan out here across from pit road into 4 abreast on occasion and sometimes 5.
I can't believe Sterling just sitting there and just pulling this crowd right around here. What a great run for him right off the get-go.
And here comes Kenny Wallace in the 78. Wallace, who had to time his way in the field and did so, but he's got no help. Nobody close enough to him to push him along, so Marlin and Gordon go back to the front.
What do you mean he got no help? There's 42 guys behind him. Get out here and push me, somebody.
Not surprised to see Kenny Wallace running good here, though. We mentioned Hendrick Power. Remember the last race Dale Earnhardt won here? Kenny Wallace pushed him to the start-finish line for Dale to win that race. He really understands the draft well.
Well, you got to admit, it's pretty exciting for Sterling Marlin and Kenny Wallace to be up here fighting with Jeff Gordon and company.
And now Dick, our pole sitter Gordon has his favorite wingman, Jimmy Johnson, right on his bumper.
He does indeed. He ran those first several laps right on the bottom, and before the race started, he urged his spotters to be sure and tell him when somebody was closing on the outside of him. Gordon, in his pre-race comments, has minced no words whatever. He said it's not a question of if the big one's going to happen, it's only a question of when. He is very focused on avoiding running into anybody today. That's the way you win the race here at Talladega.
Hey, Mike, Larry, Kenny Wallace went by here last time in 5th place. See where he is when he comes by this time.
It looks like about 25th. He was in the sucker hole in the middle.
He got shuffled.
He got zapped.
We see teammates working together early. On the inside line toward the front, David Gilliland, outside pole sitter, has teamed up with his Robert Yates Ford teammate, Ricky Rudd. Mid-pack, Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman in the Penske Dodges running nose to tail. And toward the back, 2 of the Childress Chevys, Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, have teamed together. That's cooperation, not co-opetition.
Teamwork right now, and you'll do that early on, get up to the front, but then all bets are off once you get there.
DW, I got an answer for your question. Kenny Wallace came by 32nd that time.
I know.
Wow. From 2nd to 32nd in 2 laps.
You said he needed somebody to push him, but not backwards.
Jeff Gordon out front. For the 3rd lap, Sterling Marlin led 4. Marlin, a 2-time winner here when he drove those Morgan McClure Chevrolets powered by Runt Pittman's engines.
Now, I love what they've done to this racetrack. The surface is absolutely incredible, but there's a little groove through the tri-oval that's a little disturbing to me. When you get down in that bottom lane, there's a groove there that the car catches, and every now and then moves it around quite a bit.
But Darrell, is that part of the problem? The drivers almost get too comfortable because this place has so much grip.
Yep, there's a car way down below the yellow line too, and that's not good.
Carl Edwards. Yellow line is out of bounds. If you go below the yellow line and advance your position, expect to make an unexpected trip to pit road for penalty.
You know, Mike, we were talking about teammates. Look behind Jeff Gordon. You see Greg Biffle in that 16 car, Matt Kenseth in the 17. They have been hooked up together for the last few laps trying to get up there to Gordon in the 24.
Okay, Mr. Crew Chief, what's the strategy?
Let me get back with you. I'm not sure just yet.
I'll tell you Jeff Gordon's strategy. The best way to stay out of trouble is to stay out in front of it. And that's where he wants to be all day.
That's what I always told Hammond. He said, what can we do to help you? I said, give me a really fast car.
Krista.
You guys mentioned Matt Kenseth. You know, he has been surprisingly good here. You always think of the Chevy dominance. Matt Kenseth has had 3 consecutive top 10 finishes here. He was 6th in this race last year, 4th in the fall. He said the only things he's not very good at is picking the partners down the stretch. Right now, he is a great partner for his teammate, as you said, Greg Biffle.
You know, Krista, we're riding with Tony Stewart there in the 20 car, the orange car on the inside. I think he's also made that statement. He's finished 2nd here like 6 times. He said he just never gets with the right guy on the last lap.
One thing that Tony's a little worried about, though, this is not his favorite car. He lost that at Daytona. The car that he had finished 2nd 6 times in doesn't exist anymore.
Familiar faces up front. Gordon and Stewart pull this train around Talladega.